Hello, you.
Who, me?
Yes, you. Don't try to slink away. You know who you are. You're the pretty young college girl who declares feminism isn't for me when the professor asks. You're the macho man who laughs when he meets feminist women. The concept of feminist men and others across the gender spectrum will short-circuit your brain, I imagine. You are the middle-aged working mom, perhaps living out a few feminist ideals secretly but shun the word. You are the reporter who makes listicles about why feminism is dead and women have it all. Perhaps you are even a right-wing unintentional Twitter troll, forever trying to build a case for why feminism is against our traditional Indian values. Code word, patriarchy. Patriarchy! Bear with me for a while. Hear me out. Open your mind for a few minutes, just a sliver. You can always shut it whenever you like.
Yeah, I will do that. Can you do the same if you ever listen to this video? Or if you listen to anybody who's an anti-feminist?
Have you ever heard of statistics that tell you that men are more likely to commit suicide? Every year or so, a bunch of dismal studies confirm what we all know by now. Men are far more likely to kill themselves. Of course, there is a lot of intersectionality at play here, and factors such as race and age matter as well. Have you ever thought why men kill themselves so much? Because men are less likely to report depression and anxiety. Combine the societal idea of a stoic macho man with the stigma and shame of mental health issues. What you get is a silent epidemic where men are unable to express themselves or ask for help.
Okay, men not asking for help is not just about socialization. It is also in our genetics, if you believe in evolution. Or are you a creationist? Do you know how bad it has to get before a man agrees or even decides by himself to go to a hospital? The men always had to be ready to take mental and physical torture because they had to do so in order to protect the women of their lives. Anyway, wonder what happens when men actually do come out and, talk about their problems. Do you know what feminists do?
Boo fucking who?
Male tears, mansplaining, and all those claws fucking come right out. Has feminism ever done anything for men other than shame them? Not one fucking thing. It's not that we actually want you to, but you seem to have monopolized the whole gender issue. Now, all genders have equality under feminism, except males, of course, because males suck patriarchy. What you have actually done is make draconian laws, so men have absolutely no choice left when faced by these laws but to commit suicide. Now, here are a few statistics to help you realize how suicide has increased, even though you feminists have fought so hard to stop it. I took very little time to come up with this graph with info I retrieved from the NCRB website. The reason I chose to start with 2005 is because that's when the Domestic Violence Act was passed. This graph in front of you is for married men and women. The number of men is almost double the number of women every single year, and even goes more than double in a few of them. The only year men committing suicide decreased was in 2014. I'm not sure why, but I think it might be probably because of the work done by the men's rights activists in India. Now, I commend what the men's rights activists are doing. They're fighting for equality. They're fighting against the domestic violence laws, the rape laws, and to make most of these laws gender neutral, and to identify that women can be perpetrators too. But I don't care what they do. I'm not fucking going back to the plantation. But I'll support the men's rights activists with what they do. I know a lot of MGTOWs are not a big fan of that, but you know what? I don't give a fuck. Now, let's look at the gender as a whole. We see pretty much the same trend. The number of men keep increasing and the number of women stay pretty much the same. Feminism, your effort is commendable, but here's the deal. You stay the fuck off men's issues, okay? Let men fucking deal with it. And you fucking go sit in your corner and cry rape. because that's all you're fucking good for at the moment.
Where does feminism come in? Feminism, as I understand it, looks to break gender stereotypes and norms. Feminism counters the notion of boys will be boys and girls will be girls, and works to dismantle about who gets to cry and who gets to punch. It tries to make space for individuals to be who they are. Remember, women get punished in the workplace for taking maternity leave, but they aren't the only ones. Men are also penalized for taking paternity leave, a grim reminder that they are expected to play little to no role in raising a child.
Now, this is what you state, but your fucking actions speak louder than words. I've read the whole fucking article and noticed that you did not write a single word about the misuse of domestic violence laws. Feminists pushed that law into practice, and feminists pushed for the definition of rape to be widened. You're not breaking gender roles. What you're doing is making it worse. Men should be agents, and women are acted upon by those agents. Feminists also opposed making rape laws gender neutral in 2013. All you do is make laws that protect women more stringent in order to prosecute men who are the only possible perpetrators according to the law. Yeah, and you're fucking talking about men expected to play little or no role in raising a child. Look at the fucking divorces. Look at who gets the fucking child custody. No, it wasn't patriarchy that decided that men... No, it wasn't patriarchy that decided that women are better caretakers. No, it was fucking feminists. It has always been fucking feminists who decided that. And then you come and tell us that men should play a greater role. You know how easy it is for a fucking woman to get custody of a child after divorce? Ask any divorced person who's fought for custody. Ask the man what he had to do to even get visitation rights. And you'll know the truth of how fucking hard it is. And you're trying to tell us men should play more fucking role in their child's life when you fucking don't want it.
Ladies, let's take a minute to look at your lives. I'm talking about you ladies who are middle class with a college education and perhaps even a job. Do you imagine the right to education and work just fell out of the sky for you? What feminism has done for you is allow you to not only be housewives at home, responsible for chores while men go and fight wars and bring home food. You could do that. Or not. What it has done is slowly, very slowly steered societies and families away from inevitable gender roles to which you were doomed. An idea your fatalistic society has tested to its limits. Patriarchy!
Okay, feminism rode its ugly and vicious head in the 1970s when it comes to India, that is. But the thing is, women's organization was actually established in the late 19th century, but here's the thing that you probably did not know. Women's issues were actually brought up by men in India. You know those patriarchal men who wanted to fucking oppress you? Maybe they were women disguised as men. That's one of the only ways your patriarchy narrative works, isn't it? Let's keep it as, men were disguised as women and... Sorry, women were disguised as men and they, started up the women's organization. Now, let's take a look at what prominent women had done or accomplished before the 1970s. If feminism did this, or feminism actually gave education to women, how is it that the Bethunis Women's College, a very famous one, that too, was established in 1879? 1879. The first women teacher, Savitribai Phule, became so in the year 1848. Kadambini Ganguly and Ananti Gopal Joshi became the first women from India to be trained in Western medicine, and that was in the year 1886. Sarojini Naidu became the first Indian-born female president of the Indian National Congress in 1925. 1947. Sarojini Naidu became the governor of the United Provinces and in the process became India's first women governor. Prem Mathur of the Deccan Airways became the first Indian woman pilot in 1951. Actually, commercial pilot. Vijay Lakshmi Pandit became the first woman president of the United Nations General Assembly. And she was the first Indian to do so as well, not just the first woman. She was the first Indian to do so. Ramakrishna Sarada Mission was formed for women monks in the year 1954. And we had our first female Prime Minister in 1966. Oh, patriarchy. How you have failed. Letting these women do all these things when you were supposed to keep them in the kitchen, making you sandwiches. Oh no, wait. In India it's chapatis. Or yeah, chapatis. Let's stick with chapatis. You fucking idiots. Feminism did not really give education or power to these women. They had the opportunity and took it. Men haven't had anything handed to them either. They fucking went out and took it. And because they had the obligation and pressure to be the one that provides for the family, they worked harder to get it.
It has started the conversation about why domestic work is not valued in economic terms. It has led to studies that show that when both men and women work, women still do more of the housework. You are perhaps still the legal property of men in your life. Have you ever filled a government form where you were anything but the daughter of wife or someone? But there are feminists across the gender spectrum trying to change that. Don't get me wrong. Feminism isn't a cure-all, and patriarchy is still deeply rooted in the idea of Indian culture. But let me share with you a quote by Roxane Gay from her book Bad Feminist, in which she also shares her deep discomfort around the pedestal we put feminism on, and the moment we find that it is perfect, we blame it for everything. Some women being empowered does not prove the patriarchy is dead. It proves that some of us are lucky. Patriarchy!
Okay, I agree that women do the majority of the household chores inside the house, like cooking, laundry, and cleaning. Now, I've done my fair share of cooking, laundry, and cleaning because I've stayed in a hostel since I was 13, and I've always stayed away from my folks. And you know what? Household chores are the fucking easiest things to do. You know, the light fucking chores, they are what I consider light chores. You know, when it comes to heavy duty though, you know, chores that are heavy duty, like moving things around, heavy things, taking out the garbage, mowing the lawn, you know, plowing the field. It's almost exclusively done by men.
So remember, just because you got lucky does not mean everyone else did as well. You may not choose to vote for many reasons, such as the dismal state of politics in our country, to your personal apathy. This is a very different choice than being legally disempowered from being able to vote and represent your country. Perhaps you don't care, but remember the Women's Reservation Bill has been stalled for almost a decade in the Indian Parliament, which is dominated by men in a country which is almost 50% women. Don't forget the missing women we lost to feticide and neglect. Representation in public spaces matter.
Now, first things first. Women have had the right to vote in India since independence. So I don't know what the fuck you're cribbing about here. And the Women's Reservation Bill proposes that 1/3 of seats in the lower house of parliament be reserved purely for women. Reservation. Okay? You have the right to get into politics. Nobody is stopping you. But what you want is reservation. Feminism. I am empowered and I need special attention and reservations. Because I need help. But I'm empowered.
Hello again, men. Do you have friends who are girls? Do you ever go out and do fun things that young people do, like watch movies and eat copious amounts of food? Did you perhaps meet the love of your life and have a choice in who you married? Did you perhaps choose not to marry? All of these little and big freedoms have their origin in the idea that someone's genitalia does not define them. Think some more. Did you meet a man that you loved or were attracted to and feel despair? Did you ever experiment with women's clothes and feel shame? Has the contagious shame epidemic around menstruation touched you or a loved one? Feminism does not want this for you.
Yeah. How does going out and eating food with friends come through feminism? It does not. Stop taking credit for shit you did not do. And about women's clothes, They were made to accentuate a woman's body to attract men. That's not exactly a good fit for a man. We have our clothes, you have our clothes, and your clothes. Like in all cases, what's ours is always yours, but what's yours is yours. Let's just leave it at that. I don't mind it, but yeah. And menstruation, this menstruation that you can menstruate all you want. I know it's a fucking natural phenomena. I don't care if you bleed, but do not throw it in my face.
So the next time you chose to call someone a feminazi or be dismissive in some other equally insidious way, stop and think about it. Are you sure you have not benefited from feminism in some way? Do you know what is it that you are shrugging off? Pause for a minute and think about it some more. Patriarchy!
Okay, so I and a lot of men, we're pretty sure that we haven't benefited in any way. All feminism has done is make women victims and men perpetrators. It has completely disregarded that crime is not gendered and put laws in place to support that particular narrative. Come to think of it, I have benefited from feminism in one way. I saw the true nature of women. Thank you for that. And I know a lot of men will thank you for that too. I will always be grateful to feminism for that single good deed. So that's it for the article. And just one last thing. I'm guessing you guys have heard about the Chennai floods. There were numerous celebrities donating money for the cause. Now, how many women do you think donated money to this cause? Or celebrities, I did some legwork and found that 4 female celebrities have donated to the relief. And 26 of them were male. I hate making natural disasters about gender, but look at the people who have come out and helped others in this calamity. It's almost all men. I would absolutely like to give a shout out for sex workers from Maharashtra who donated 100,000 rupees to the cause. Respect, honest. They themselves are extremely poor and have come out to donate when they are basically victims too. The ones who shout out for gender equality, like Deepika Padukone and all those celebrities out there, these Bollywood actresses, they don't really give a fuck about anybody but themselves. The ones wading the waters, rescuing animals and humans, not looking at their genders, are men. The army that was dispatched to assist were men. The youth have made a mark, but have a look at the volunteers. There are numerous boys lending a hand. Recently, I'd gone to volunteer at a place where they were sending out supplies to Chennai. Now, don't get me wrong, there were several women present. But here's what they were doing. They were telling people what to do and packing the, items into boxes. The ones doing the hard labor, like unloading and loading trucks, were exclusively men. Not a single female in that. Whenever a truck arrived and it had to be loaded, you could hear a loud cry come, "Boys, we need volunteers to load the truck." There are no feminists in a disaster. They go from gender equality to let men do all the work. After all, it's patriarchy that caused the flood. Anyway, guys, that's it for today. I'll see you guys soon. Cheers.